You've probably asked yourself, what is the very best Hot Toys Darth Vader that I can buy? What is the best Iron Man? Which Spider-Man should I add to my collection? Maybe which Anakin?
Anakin's gone.
Well, today I got you covered. We're going to go through 25 iconic characters and their definitive representation in Hot Toys form in order to save you some moolah. Don't go buying multiple versions to find the right one. That's foolish.
That's foolish. You pick the one right tool.
But before we get started, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell down below so you're notified when content goes live here. That said, let's go over the definitive versions of definitive characters and help you collect more efficiently. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen, for this video. Buckle up, it's going to be a fun ride. We are going with a heavy hitter straight off the bat. We have the Hot Toys Darth Vader from Kenobi, which I believe is the definitive Darth Vader. Now, before you roast me in the comments, I am well aware a Revenge of the Sith Episode 3 version on the table exists. I'm well aware a battle damaged Darth Vader version exists from The Force Unleashed. There's also a Return of the Jedi, which is great, an Empire 40th Anniversary, which is great. The Tarkin 2-pack and New Hope Vader, also fantastic. But you know what? Kenobi Vader is goated. Don't at me, I'm going to explain why. Look, I'm willing to admit as much as the next guy. The show was ass. I didn't love the show, but the moment when Anakin and Obi-Wan have their reunion, the conversation, it's gut-wrenching, it's emotional, it's well-written, it's well-acted, well-performed, and this is the Darth Vader that has a split in his mask. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's a beautiful head sculpt. It is pleather. Some of the new Darth Vaders are nylon, which I will openly admit and readily admit is superior and has better durability than these pleather versions. However, USB light up on the battery packs, the chest piece, and of course, the belt boxes and the lightsaber all light up if you have the regular version, the chest piece on. The battle damage one is not going to light up, but nonetheless, USB light up makes it much more efficient, stands out in your collection. The lightsaber, the head sculpt, the half mask is incredible. Yes, the battle damage version has that and more. It's a better battle damage figure, but it's not as memorable and iconic. This scene is so important to me, and I absolutely love it. It's such a unique Darth Vader, and beyond that, it can also be clean. It is stunning as a clean Vader. Stunning. Comes with 2 display bases for the deluxe version. You get the clean parts, you get the battle damage parts. You can display them on the rock base, which is a reuse from Endgame, to be fair, but you can also display them on the ship base as well, which is super cool. This thing is stunning. It is a beauty of a figure, and is the Darth Vader that I feel right now is still the one to own. It is still the best one that exists, in my opinion. It has most versatility. It's very iconic in terms of the moment, not the show. Of course, there's more iconography involved with original trilogy stuff. I get that, but nonetheless, this Darth Vader, as far as display goes, presence, versatility, and dynamism, this guy's still the one. I think he's still number one. Let's keep that same Anakin energy and talk about Anakin Skywalker himself. So I'm going to go with the Artisan Revenge of the Sith Anakin Skywalker. I am choosing to show the blogger photos for this one just because I feel like that's going to give a more realistic indication of what you're going to receive should you end up purchasing this one. This is the final product, which I still feel looks amazing. It looks absolutely awesome. Not quite as good as the prototype. I agree. The hair color is slightly darker than the original prototype. The likeness is slightly worse, but I still feel the final product came out very, very strong. I don't have it in hand yet, so I can't say definitively, but I can say looking at the photos, I'm very excited with how this turned out. This is an amazing figure, and if I'm thinking about Anakin Skywalker at his peak, at his most badass, it's Revenge of the Sith Anakin, and this is the light side version of him before he turns to darkness. You have the Sith Apprentice Darth Vader from the Ahsoka series. Great figure, very dynamic, and I'm glad that I have it in my collection, but for most people, I think if you're only going to have one, it's this one. It's the Anakin from Revenge of the Sith in his normal attire before he goes dark, and this is an incredible figure. I gotta say, the Anakin Skywalker, it really comes down to those two. It's Sith Apprentice or Artisan, because Revenge of the Sith is the one you want, and I think I gotta go standard just for this one. A huge heavy hitter here, we have Iron Man. Iron Man, the battle damage Mark 85 to me will probably always be goated, unless Iron Man returns and has a more iconic appearance, but this is the Iron Man that snapped away Thanos' army, which is probably the most iconic moment in the MCU to date, arguably. Some people will argue it's something different, but this is the culmination of everything. It's the whole Infinity Saga boiled down to one moment where Iron Man sacrificed himself to save the world, and this moment really does bring the character full circle. He's not the one to lay down on the wire and let the other guy crawl over him. Well, that turned out to be false, and Iron Man does do just that by snapping his fingers and getting rid of Thanos' army. Sorry, I'm going through puberty. Guys, You can do a regular Iron Man here with battle damage parts to make him look like Iron Man, but that's kind of a waste to me unless you're gonna buy two, just because the head sculpt is so good on this figure. And the iconic moment is him with the head sculpt on, not the helmet. And the gauntlet does light up. It's not USB powered, neither is the armor, unfortunately. So maybe one day we'll get an artisan version where they update those features and give us rooted hair. That'll be the day that figure really is gonna win collectors over, that's for sure. But the iconic Iron Man is this one. It's a beautiful figure, a beautiful head sculpt. You can still get it super cheap, and it represents pretty much the most iconic moment the MCU has experienced thus far. It's the height of really the comic book genre. And speaking of Avengers Endgame, we have Captain America from Avengers Endgame. Now, there has been a stealth suit cap that has been announced by Hot Toys, which is going to look very, very cool. But stealth suit is not the suit for everyone. Endgame is really, I think, Captain America's really climactic moment as well. Lifting Mjolnir, having a really cool scaled suit, and just doing some badass shit in Avengers Endgame. Captain America with his battle damage shield, whether it be broken or just weathered like it is in this photo here, is really remarkable. Now, the head sculpt is okay. The Hot Toys has yet to make a Steve Rogers head sculpt that is truly remarkable in its likeness to Chris Evans. However, with the mask on, this is still a very solid figure. And as of today, it is the best and most iconic Captain America that you can buy from Hot Toys. So if you were to get one today, it would be this one. However, I also think that Hot Toys eventually is going to start remaking Captain Americas 2.0s that are going to be superior, maybe even an artisan Captain America at some point. Endgame is going to get revisited sometime in the future, and just a matter of when. But if you need a Captain America right now, it's this one. This is the best one. You have Mjolnir, and you have a lot of cool stuff to go with him. This guy is just a very well done figure for its time. Next up is Spider-Man Tom Holland. I elected not to do Toby or Andrew for this video because with Toby, you have two different figures. You have the No Way Home version and you have the black suit version. That's pretty simple, I think, to decide between which version do you prefer. I think that's reasonable. But for Tom Holland, there are several different iterations and versions and costumes that you can choose between. And to me, as of now, the culmination, the suit that is really climactic for him is new red and blue. He does nothing with it except make it and jump out of a building with it, but it's badass as shit and it looks great on the shelf. And the head sculpt is absolutely incredible. If you buy the deluxe version, you actually get the snow rooftop base, which is actually very cool. I didn't think I would need it, but I did need it, and I'm glad that I got it. It's just a really cool suit. It has a lot of shiny texture to it and has that classic Spider-Man vibe to it. And again, it's Spider-Man rather than Spider-Boy. This is the culmination of everything and really the point where he really goes out on his own, makes his own suit again, and decides to be Spider-Man in a new identity and a new purpose. So I think this is awesome. Spider-Man is great. The head sculpt in person is one of the most lifelike head sculpts I've seen. And that's really what I think makes this figure so great. It's almost like you can't display it with the mask on because it looks so fucking good with the mask off with this Tom Holland likeness. It's absolutely incredible. Look at that. Movable eyes. You have the neck piece, which is different this time to show a more accurate, realistic portrayal of how the neck piece would actually attach to the suit. It's remarkable. This is just such a beautiful figure. And I promise you, if you're looking for a Tom Holland Spider-Man, this is the one you want as of now. Okay, so now we're talking about Christian Bale Batman. So for me, if you want a Christian Bale Batman, it is the Batman Armory from The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises version is really cool. I love that one. But if you want the best Batman from Christian Bale, I feel it's the most iconic Batman. It's the Dark Knight suit and of course the Armory. Unfortunately, you cannot just buy Batman by himself. Hot Toys was like, no, we're not going to do that. You're going to buy the whole set and you're going to like it. And that's what happened here. You have to buy the Bruce Wayne with the suit. You have to buy the Armory with the USB light up effects. And it does look pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. The head sculpt could use a little bit of retooling and refinement. However, if you're gonna buy a Batman figure, this one in terms of texture and suit design and accuracy and just the quality of the overall look of the suit is much higher end than other Batmans that have been released thus far, such as the DX19. This guy is awesome. At least, it hasn't been released quite yet, but when it does, I'm very confident it will look great, as the Dark Knight Rises version did with the new Armory, with the Dewdrop Armory. That's a pretty cool piece there. This is gonna be great. I promise you, this is gonna be such a good Batman, piece to your collection. I'm personally waiting for InArt. I'm probably going to be waiting until 2037, but nonetheless, I'm kind of committed at this point. I've kind of dug in. But if you were going to get a Hot Toys Bale Batman, this would be the one. Provided you have room for the Armory, or maybe you can just find someone parting out the Batman figure. That might be possible. But the detailing, the accuracy of the suit, and the updates, this is just a really, really well done figure. And next up is the Batfleck Batman. This is a very popular iteration of the character, and it actually just released somewhat recently. People were a little bit skeptical of it, including myself when I saw the blogger photos, but in-hand photos do look pretty good. This is a very well done figure from my experience. I think I was wrong. I overreacted just a little bit when the blogger photos initially released, and I was like, I'm not thrilled with this. But looking at it and seeing the in-hand photos and looking at these blogger photos again, I say, okay, I see a really good Ben Affleck here. And I do think, again, BVS, not everyone's favorite film, but for the people who love the Snyderverse, I think it's a very iconic portrayal of this Batman. And I think, to be honest, this is probably his definitive suit, if I were to speculate here, for most collectors who collect Batman figures. I'm not the biggest Affleck guy. I'm a Christian Bale guy. The Dark Knight is my franchise and Batman that I love the most. However, this Batfleck is really important to a lot of people, and if so, you could get the armored version 2.0, but I think this one is probably a little bit more iconic, a little bit more definitive, a little bit, I think probably a little bit cooler, although that version is pretty cool too if you're gonna get multiples. But this Batman has that sort of unique color scheme, but also I think has that sort of Batman vibe to it. You can see sort of the subtle little coloring and weathering there on the suit, which is pretty cool. I really do like that. And overall, it does have that Batman vibe to it, whereas the armored suit, I know there's some comic roots and origins with that one, but this one more makes you think of Batman is what I'm trying to say. And I think this one also is probably what more people associate with Ben Affleck's Batman, this suit, rather than the armored suit. So for me, this head sculpt being really good and the suit and the cowl looking amazing. There's going to be an in-art version eventually, but for Hot Toys collectors who want this guy now, this would be the one. And next up, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, and this is the Artisan Episode 2 version. Hear me out on this one. I think this is the best Obi-Wan Ewan McGregor likeness, and I also really like the rooted hair. I like the Artisan versions. This is an Episode 2 version. I get it's slightly too old compared to what he should be for Episode 2. I'm confident Hot Toys will probably make some improvements to it, try to de-age it just a little bit, but even if not, I think the head sculpt does look pretty good. You have seamless forearms, you have the amazing rooted hair. The likeness is certainly starting to improve. Ewan McGregor, I think, is they're getting closer and closer with each head sculpt, and I do think this one is the closest yet. I do think the proportions are also very good. The outfit looks amazing, and this does really look like Ewan McGregor. I've come around to this head sculpt quite a bit over time, and I'm starting to see a great likeness here, just not quite perfect. I think this is like an 8.5 out of 10 likeness, but it's certainly the best that I've seen, and the rooted hair, I think, takes it to that next level. Overall, this is a very good head sculpt and an iconic figure nonetheless. Episode 3 would be the one we really want, but I don't love that original Episode 3 version. I think it's really subpar. I've had it in hand. I owned it for quite a number of years. And over time, I fell out of love with it. This one I feel like makes the improvements necessary to take the next step up. And while it's Episode 2 instead of 3, I'd rather take the more high quality figure compared to the one that I feel like is a bit lesser. So I'm gonna go with the Artisan Episode 2 for now until an Episode 3 is inevitably announced as a 2.0. And next up is the Joker. And just to be a little bit of an anarchist here, I'm gonna lump them all together. Nicholson, Ledger, Leto, and of course, Joaquin Phoenix. I'm gonna put Artisan Joker at the top here. And hear me out on this one. Heath Ledger Joker is completely incredible and iconic. One of the best performances ever in a film put to screen. This thing is amazing. The rooted hair, I think, came out great. This figure is a very, very good figure. I have it in hand. Some people had some glue issues and some balding, stuff like that. I hope yours was not one of them. Mine so far, knock on wood, has not been one of them. This figure is amazing. The tailoring is awesome. I think it's actually probably a little bit better than in art. The head sculpt is certainly better, and the hair is just awesome. It could be a little bit improved with future releases. It was the first Artisan figure announced technically, but this is a very good Heath Ledger figure. And if you're looking for a Joker figure, the most iconic definitive version, this is certainly the best one. Sculpted is a great figure too. I will concede that. The sculpted one is an amazing figure. We're doing a giveaway for that one, so check out the video on this channel about that giveaway. It's on there. I can link in the description if people want. But this figure, the rooted hair version, that extra next level of realism is incredible. So for me, this Heath Ledger Joker is an absolute must-have if you're a Joker fan. If you didn't already buy the in-art or not getting the J&D or whatever, this Heath Ledger Joker from Hot Toys is a really, really good option. If you're just looking at Hot Toys, this guy's great. And keeping that same artisan energy, this is the Black Widow from Iron Man 2, the artisan version, the rooted hair version, wool planted hair, the glued on rooted hair, whatever you want to call it. It is an iconic portrayal of Black Widow. And this is the best head sculpt, the best likeness, the best rooted hair that they've done so far, because the other Black Widow hair is very Barbie-like hair, didn't look very good. This one is an incredible likeness. The paint applications look fantastic. And of course, this is still a very iconic portrayal for Black Widow. Maybe not the most iconic, maybe Endgame would be that, but but this one does have the best likeness and looks super, super cool. It even has a magnetic display base, which is great. Very simple, but magnetic. We're gonna see how Hot Toys pulls that off, but I love the look of this figure, the iconography of it, the head sculpt. The hair looks pretty awesome here, and the realism here I think is fantastic. So for me, the best Black Widow has to go to this artisan version. It's just, so far it's the best. Breaking the artisan trend here, we have Luke Skywalker. So for me, Luke Skywalker, there are several different versions that are very good. Return of the Jedi is a little bit dated, but it's good. Mando Luke, which is kind of like a soft Return of the Jedi figure, that one's also very good actually. But we have the Empire Bespin Luke, which to me is the best Mark Hamill likeness that Hot Toys has done thus far, and it certainly is a very iconic figure. This has a really cool light-up display base, and of course a diorama display base with the sort of Dagobah look on it as well if you get the deluxe version, which is super cool. This is a very definitive, iconic Luke look. Return of the Jedi maybe could be the version that you would say would be his peak, like when he was most powerful. However, Empire is probably the best Star Wars film that has been made for most people, and this is his outfit when he learns Darth Vader is his father and fights Darth Vader. You don't get the battle damage look with the severed hand and the multiple battle damage head sculpts, but you get some interchangeable hair pieces, which are pretty cool, and this is a pretty solid likeness to Mark Hamill. I do think there could be better ones coming in the future, but as of now, I feel this is the best one. You get the exclusive version, you get this Luke Skywalker helmet from Dagobah, which is pretty cool, and there's the display base as well, the Dagobah theme display base, which is pretty cool. So you can look at everything there. This is a very good figure, and to me, right now, the best Luke Skywalker is this one. Now we're on to Din Djarin the Mandalorian. The best one is by far the Chrome Beskar look. This is a very, very good figure. It was unfortunate that it released so close to the original Beskar version, which was not the Chrome finish, which is not near as good of a figure as this one. This one is awesome. Some collectors have complained a little bit about the weathering. The Pedro Pascal head sculpt is not quite perfect. It definitely needed some further refinements and retooling. However, most people are not going to use that head sculpt. You're going to use the helmet. You're going to have Grogu standing beside him, maybe with the bags, maybe not. You can see the original version compared to the updated Chrome version. Much shinier, much better, much improved. This guy is awesome. So for me, this is a very, very good figure, a highly underrated figure at that. Most people have slept on it and forgot about it these days, but this is really the best Mando that's out there right now. I do hope Mandalorian returns strong with his film, and if he does, this figure is going to be sought after, or maybe the next version from the film possibly. But as of now, this version is a great, great Star Wars figure. One of the best Star Wars figures I think that they've made, honestly. And very iconic character here, so gotta love this one. Darth Maul. Darth Maul, the Phantom Menace 2.0 version, is the definitive version. This version is with the speeder. You can get him without the speeder if you'd like. I currently have him displayed without the speeder in my collection, but this head sculpt is beautiful. It is stunning. It is gorgeous. It is amazing from every angle. The Sith speeder is also really cool. You can plug it in via USB, light it up, which is super cool. The cloak doesn't want to sit perfectly just because of the horns. You have to futz with it just a little bit to get it to sit right. However, this Darth Maul is incredible. The head sculpt, the wired cloak, and of course the wired tabards on the actual robes themselves are really, really cool. That thing is like fully wired. You can sculpt it to really whatever pose and dynamism you want to go for. This is a very, very good figure. This Darth Maul is just remarkable. It's one of the best head sculpts I've ever seen in my entire life. So if you're getting a Darth Maul and you're not getting this one, I think you're making a mistake. This guy is beautiful, stunning, incredible. And if you really need a Darth Maul, this is the most iconic version. I think the best quality figure as well. Hot Toys really put their all into this one, and it's going to change your collection. Harley Quinn. We got the Artisan Edition Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad. This has got to be the best Harley Quinn. There have been some others out there that people like, but I'm thinking about what is the best likeness, what is the coolest looking figure. It's got to be this one. The smile is not perfect. The sculpt is not a 10 out of 10, but it's a very good figure. And on display, I think this is going to look really good in any DC display that you got going on. This is James Gunn's really first initiation with the DC universe. And this is an awesome film. I really, really enjoyed it. And a lot of people want Harley in the dress, which didn't quite, get released just yet, at least. But as of now, this version is super cool. Harley Quinn, really popular character, really beloved character. And this outfit is awesome. And this head sculpt, the more I look at it, the more I like this head sculpt. This thing is very, very good. So if you're looking for a Harley Quinn, this would certainly be the one to get. For me, Harley Quinn is not that important to myself, but if I were to buy one, absolutely no questions asked, it's this one. For Boba Fett, we gotta go with the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary version, because to me, this thing is just awesome. I had this figure in my collection for quite a while. Boba Fett is not that important of a character to me, which is why I decided to move on. I elected to move on from this figure, but it still is a very awesome figure in your collection if you really want original trilogy figures. You have swappable display pieces here for the armor, which is super cool. You have the helmet with the lines on the top, which is not my preference. I like the standard one, but this is a really, really cool design. And again, this is the iconic look for Boba Fett. You could also argue Return of the Jedi, but you can swap the parts out and give him a pretty close look to that one. So a very, very cool figure ultimately. This Boba Fett is the definitive one, honestly. Of course, if you want something new, like the Mando Boba Fett's, they're just a little bit different. That's Dad Bod Boba. It's just a different vibe altogether. But if you want that original trilogy vibe, then this one has got to be the choice. I'm going to surprise some people for Venom. I'm actually going with 21 inches of Venom here. So this is from Spider-Man 2, the video game. And there are multiple Venoms. There's Tom Hardy Venom, the comic book Venom, and now you have this 21 inches of Venom. This thing is massive. It has an insane amount of presence, and it just looks incredible on display. Whether you have the Advanced Suit 2.0 or Miles Morales, the upgraded suit, you of course can display this guy separate individually if you want, but he is massive. He's probably not going to fit in an MCU display because he's too big and he's just going to look out of place when he's way bigger than Thanos and other characters like Carnage even. But if you put him in a video game display case or his own display case even, this guy looks remarkable. This picture is actually kind of making me want Miles Morales. I don't have Miles. I do have the Advanced Suit 2.0, so maybe I should pick up the Miles again at some point. However, this Venom is remarkable. He smells like rubber. He feels like rubber. It looks incredible. You have the display with the head sculpt with the teeth. And of course, you can put the tongue in his mouth as well for the more open mouth head sculpt. Lots of presence, a really cool seamless body with most of the joints concealed besides a few things here or there. But you do have that seamless body, which looks pretty awesome. A lot of the tendril effects are you can attach onto the figure. And of course, you have the claw hands and other cool accessories as well. This guy is remarkable. This is a beast of a figure. And I promise you, in your display, should you have space, he's gonna have a ton of presence. Okay, Papa Palpatine, we gotta go with the Darth Sidious Episode 3 Papa Palpatine. This guy just got announced recently and he is amazing. You can make him a Papa Palpatine, the dark side version and the light side version. I guess if you wanna call him that, he was dark side all along. The concealed version, the hidden version versus the real true Papa Palpatine version. The robes are red and black, super cool color scheme, super dynamic, super iconic. And you also have Chancellor Palpatine should you wanna display him in that way. That's kind of what I think I might end up going for. That fight with Mace Windu, are you threatening me, Master Jedi? That line is cold AF and I love it. However, that look is just so iconic there. So for me, this is gonna be really tough. I see people buying 2 of this figure and I understand why, because you have that amazing head sculpt and you also have this Clone Wars head sculpt, which is really, really good, of Ian McKellen. So Ian McDermott, sorry, my apologies. And you have Ian McDermott here, which is an amazing likeness. And this guy is just awesome. The likeness overall here is incredible. And of course, we got teased another Dark Side Anakin, which didn't end up happening. Still time though, we'll see. But nonetheless, look at those 2 looks here. Definitive. So next we're looking at the Hulk. Now people don't love how I say the Hulk, but you know what? He's the Hulk. And you know what? He is incredible. This is the Age of Ultron one with a seamless upper torso, which is awesome. There's Professor Hulk and other Hulks out there that are pretty cool and interesting, but not quite to this level. You have the Avengers version as well, which was also a very good figure. I'm still absolutely shocked that they have not 2.0'd the Avengers Hulk because I think that would be a great figure. Age of Ultron right now still reigns supreme. This is a very, very good figure. And I think that overall it's the most iconic and most badass look for the character. It is a little bit dated in terms of its, figure quality, but I still think overall it'll look great in a display. And I would love to see a seamless Hulk in the future or a seamless torso such as this, like what they did with this version, because it really makes the figure stand out and look alive. This again is Angry Hulk, which I think is more compelling and more interesting than Professor. So for me, it's got to be Age of Ultron. It just comes with the most stuff and looks the coolest. So we're going Age of Ultron. I don't know if this choice is going to surprise people or not, but for Thor, we're going with Road-Worn Thor. I have the Infinity War Thor because to me, that is the most badass Thor and Thor at his height of his powers and really the most iconic moment for the character. But I think for most people, they do prefer the long hair. So if you do prefer the long hair and the seamless body, then Road-Worn Thor is an excellent choice. This Thor is actually from Ragnarok in the beginning of the film, and it does have a really cool, definitive, iconic Thor look, albeit, one that didn't last too long for the film, and a really quality head sculpt for the character thus far. I do think eventually there is going to be a Thor coming that is artisan. It's just in inevitability a matter of time that we get a Thor that is artisan, probably Avengers 1, maybe something else, but probably Avengers 1 with the long hair. And this guy is going to be amazing. But for the time being, we're going to go with Road-Worn Thor just because I think this looks the coolest. It's the most classy look for Thor. It has a great head sculpt and really cool armor look. So for me, if you're looking for that long hair Thor, this is probably the one. I'm going to stick with Infinity War because that's a memory that I have very fond in my heart when he shows up and, says, "Where's Thanos? Bring me Thanos." And that's one to me that is iconic. So, but for most people, Road Worn Thor is going to be it. So we're going to go Road Worn Thor. Let me shock some people here. So for Loki, we're going with Artisan God Loki. Normally, I would say Avengers Endgame Loki. However, I do think Hot Toys have made significant strides and improvements to improve the likeness of Tom Hiddleston, make it more accurate to his likeness, and of course create a figure that is still iconic in its own right. Loki Season 2 was a great season of television. I love Season 1, I love Season 2, and this is Loki's culmination. He's now become one of the most powerful people in the entire universe, maybe the most powerful person because he's in control of everything. And this figure is just the culmination of Loki's journey from villain to hero and everything in between. That's really what Loki has become. And now he's making the sacrifice that needs to be made to be the Loki that he needs to be to achieve his purpose of glorious purpose, his destiny. And this is awesome. I love this outfit. I love this head sculpt. I love the throne. This artisan version with the rooted hair is just amazing. I got to put Loki on the throne. I got to have him holding the strands of time there. This is going to be awesome. It's going to take up display space, but the likeness of Tom Hiddleston is remarkable. And this is an amazing portrayal of this character and where the character actually went. This is just a work of art. So for Deadpool, I gotta go Deadpool from Deadpool 3, the clean version. The battle damage version is super cool. You get the Wolverine claws, you get some other cool accessories like Wolverine's spine and stuff that you don't get with this one. But I do think the clean version is more natural, it's more iconic, it's more definitive. It's something that you see for most of the film. Battle damage, not that frequent. This clean version is amazing. Provided you don't have an issue with the foot pegs, the ankle pegs, this guy is awesome. I love this figure in my collection. He's gonna go great with Wolverine when he does release. But for now, this Deadpool is amazing. Deadpool 3, the highest grossing of the 3 films, and really just I think is the best of the 3 films. Still a nostalgia film, but I still think it's the best of the 3 films. Great suit, great texture, great paint applications on it overall. Love the color scheme with the gold and the red and the black. I think it's awesome. This is the best Deadpool film, the best Deadpool iteration, the best figure. All in all, it's a win all around. You get Dogpool. It's got to be this one. Like there was any other choice for this Wolverine, it's got to be the Wolverine from Deadpool 3. This guy is incredible. You get a mask, you get a 10 out of 10 head sculpt as long as it comes out this good. You get seamless arms. Of course, you have the swappable arms on there as well, where you can have the sleeves on. This thing is amazing. This is just awesome. Battle damage effects, if you want to change out the battle damage armor, you can do that. Attachable claw is going to be great. That head sculpt though, it is amazing. This is one of the most lifelike head sculpts that I've ever seen in my entire life. And boy, does it look incredible. I can't imagine myself taking the head sculpt off the body if it comes out anywhere close to this, because this thing is just a true work of art. I need this in my collection pronto. I need it to display with Deadpool. I need it right now in my Marvel case. And the mask version, I get it, pretty cool. Probably never gonna use it though, besides a review, because I just feel like I love that Wolverine look so much that I don't really care about the look of the mask. I wanna see Hugh Jackman's face because it is an incredible likeness. It is a work of art, and I want them to know, people who look at my collection, that it's Hugh Jackman underneath. So for me, this is just incredible no matter which way you slice it. I really hope it lives up to expectations, and I think it will. I've kind of changed my tune on this one just a little bit. For the T800 Arnold, there's 2 versions. There's a 2.0 for the clean version and a 2.0 for the battle damage. I'm getting both because I'm an Arnold super fan, but for most people, I think if you're just gonna get one, it's the battle damage. It's cooler, honestly. You can do more with it. It has more presence on the shelf. The battle damage effects are super fucking cool. The blood, the cybernetic parts, it's awesome. The likeness to Arnold is incredible. This is gonna be an absolute grab. This is gonna be a figure of the year contender when it actually releases. Probably sometime later this year or early next year would be my speculation. And regardless, the display base, the battle damage effects, the light up eye, which is, I believe, actually battery operated, not USB, which is unfortunate, but still, it looks great. The likeness is fantastic. The battle damage effects, real leather components. This guy is incredible. If you're looking for Arnold Schwarzenegger figure, this has got to be the one. This is just remarkable. The DX13 was already amazing in its own right, and I think this is going to take it to that next level. So for me, I'm absolutely picking this guy up. I will sell my DX13 and I will live happily ever after. All right, so for Scarlet Witch, we have a few really good options, but for me, it's Artisan. It's Artisan Endgame. It's the best figure. It's the best iteration. And I got to go with it as the definitive version. I know the hair is a little bit too curly for some people. Still, now that I've seen reviews, you can get the sculpted version, by the way, which still looks great. But to me, I'm going with the Artisan version because I've seen reviews. I love the likeness. I love how the hair looks. It's not entirely accurate. You have to adjust it just a little bit, but I still love how this looks on display. The light up base is awesome, incredible. I love how this looks. And I think on my shelf in my Marvel case, this is going to look look so cool. I love these poses. I love how this looks. This is an amazing Elizabeth Olsen head sculpt, and I do think the hair can be adjusted a little bit to the point where it's accurate enough. I would love to see it a little less curly. However, the prototype still had these types of curls, so that's been consistent throughout the whole styling process. I think they actually made the sculpt better and the hair better. So overall, I love how this figure looks. Can't wait to have it. If you want a Scarlet Witch, I still feel this is the best one. You can always go sculpted if you don't want artisan, if you don't want to go searching for it. But for me, it's artisan. And last but not least, we have Star-Lord, Mr. Lord. Star-Lord Volume 2 is the definitive version. The Volume 3 version is a very good one. It's a team suit. It is a very good head sculpt. It's probably the best head sculpt, the best likeness, but Volume 2 has the best outfit and still a very good likeness at that. I do think this is one they could remake at some point, Volume 2 or Volume 1, with an updated head sculpt and paint applications, maybe even artisan at some point. We will see in the future. But as of now, Volume 2, if you can find one in good shape, this would be the one to get. The long trench coat to me is the look. That's the amazing Star-Lord look. If you want the helmet on him, you can do that, but the head sculpt is really great. I had this figure briefly. It was damaged, unfortunately, when I bought it, but so I ended up returning it, but it is a very, very good figure. If I could have one that was in good condition without issue, I would love to have this guy. But I do think, again, they're going to make another Star-Lord at some point, revisit that line and go back maybe to Star-Lord, Volume 1 or 2. But still, nonetheless, right now, this guy is the best. Great head sculpt, excellent long coat and the short coat. So this is Star-Lord's really definitive look. And that's that, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this video today. I really enjoyed going through these 25 definitive characters and their definitive representations, in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below whether you agree or disagree with my takes. And if there's any other characters that you want to see discussed, drop them in the comment section below. We could have that conversation. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it down below, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to click the notification bell as well so you're notified when content goes live here. Really enjoy you guys and just all the contributions that you have to this channel and to this community. So thank you so much for supporting me and everything you do. This is a great hobby and I'm happy to be here. So thank you guys so much again for watching this video and for your support. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. See you later. Bye.